Hang on a second.
I think we're live.
I think we are.
I actually see a button. I think we made it, guys. Right in the middle of me chomping. Hey, welcome. Hey, Albie, are we live? Is it working?
We are good. Sorry about that, everybody.
Oh my gosh, sorry about that, everybody. We've been trying to get on here for 12 minutes and hadn't been able to pull it off. And during the delay, I took a big bite of my incredible cheese toast I made myself this morning. So I'm still chewing. This is the part where you want to go to a roll-in commercial or something, but in our low-tech COVID studio here, we don't have that. All right. Good morning and welcome to the Dr. Cloud Show. As we do it live and in real time and in real, shall we say, vulnerable authenticity right here. We're having a mess. Okay, but I think we're good now. I wish we could start this over, but we can't. So, hey guys, good to have you. If you are a long-time listener, then what you just saw is something that you expect, right? But if you're new, we do get better than this, I promise. We do actually are able to make this work. We are going to be taking calls today. Let me give out the number real quickly so we can start off on the right track there. It is 844-940-2775, 844-940-2775 to get live and on the air. And for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, this is a show where we talk about life and all the way that it feels and your different relationships and your goals and dreams and everything under the sun that has to do with you and people, stuff like that, kind of in the psychology realm. And we also, the cool thing about this is there is a community around this show. If you go to Facebook or if you go to Instagram or if you go to YouTube, what you're going to find is other people like us, that are just going through the journey of life and trying to take the next step and take it in a growth direction towards the light instead of towards the darkness and not falling into the same pit over and over again. And we help each other. And so it's really cool to see the comments and the help that you guys are giving each other there on those forums. So thank you for that. And always thank you to our callers, because it's our callers that give us the really, really cool topics. Really, you share your life and we find out, hey, I felt that way before, and that's how it works. Okay, so we are going to go to the phones here in a moment. 844-940-2774. We still have a line or two open while it's loading up. You can call in, and we're going to start with we are going to be taking we had a lot of questions that good questions that come in from the boundaries.me subscribers. If you're not a subscriber to boundaries.me, go to boundaries.me, that webpage, and just sign up, and you can get a world of content about all these topics, boundaries.me. But the subscribers are sending us some questions, and so we're going to take one of those in our beginning segment this morning. And here it is what do we do? This is from Valerie, and she says, what do we do when we apologize to someone for something we said and the apology wasn't accepted? Oh, that's a good question. Because one of my favorite verses says, he who gives an answer before he understands, then it's a folly to him or foolish to do that. So I would think that's one of the big issues here. So if I'm in a relationship, okay, and I realize that I've done something that might have hurt someone or offended someone or something, whatever it is, and I apologize and they don't accept my apology, then I think the first move we have to make is, remember another one of my favorite verses, let's get the log out of our own eye first, is we need to ask ourselves, was my apology inadequate? Okay. In other words, there are ways of apologizing that don't touch the soul of somebody else. They just don't, they can be shallow. They can have a little bit of an excuse kind of sewn into the fabric of the apology. Sometimes there can be a little bit of a off shifting of responsibility Sometimes it can even be, oh gosh, I'm sorry you took it that way, or some, there's some impurity in the apology itself. Okay. There's some impurity in the apology itself. So I got to look at me first, and I got a question. And so then probably I would ask them, oh, well, that makes me sad. Because I really am sorry about what I did. Um, is there something more that you're wanting from me? Is there something I'm not understanding? Um, do you need time? Kind of, and I would really go into listening mode, and I would ask, okay, I understand you don't accept it, but um, can you tell me why? And so I would try to, again, an apology is other focused. It's not about getting something from me, it's about the other. And so I would just continue to stay other focused to love somebody like we would want to be loved, to be understood. And then ultimately, if we have done it all, and really, what does a good apology entail? It entails, I like to think of three components. It entails the content of what I did. When I did A, B, or C, um, I can see, and the second piece after the content is what it made them feel. I can see that that really hurt you deeply, or I can see that was really disappointing to you, or it, caused a breakdown in trust. And so we got the content and we got what it felt like to them. It was devastating to you, or it really wounded you, or, caused you to go into a bad place. Content, empathy about what they feel. And then the third thing is the consequences. And don't leave that out. I can see that when I did this, it made you feel this way, and it's really caused you um, some problems. It's created a big mess in your life, and this, that, and the other. And for all of those, I'm truly sorry. Okay, so it may be that it's missing one of the components as well. Simple is better. The more words tends to dilute it. Okay, simple to let them know you know what you did, you know how it affected them, you know what the consequences of it were. You're sorry, and to your best ability, you're not going to do that again. And then if it's not accepted, what I would say is, well, that's I hope I hope that you will accept it. I'd like for us to get back to a good place. And so if there's anything more I can do, let me know, and I'll just wait to hear from you. All we can do is all we can do. And sometimes it takes people time. Okay, thank you for that, for Valerie, from our boundaries.me audience, who, what an army that is. I get the messages, the boundaries.me crowd, you're jumping in there, you're diving into growth, you're making changes. I'd love to hear from you, so keep that up. Okay, 844-940-2774 is our number. And we are going to hop into some questions. We're going to talk to Shelly, who's calling us from Dayton, Ohio. Looks like you got a dating question, Shelly. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. We got a Dayton question from Dayton. How's that?
There you go.
Now I'm hoping. Good. Now is there a lot of? Wait a minute. Do you have a traumatic question, or is it a like? Is it very painful, or is it lighthearted? I got to get ready for this.
There's some pain involved, definitely.
All right.
Definitely some pain.
Because I get some dating questions. Whenever I see a dating question come up, some of it is we might as well roll the comedy cameras. I mean, some dating questions are like, I just wish we could have a whole show of the stuff that goes on in dating. You can't make this stuff up. It's unbelievable. But anyway,
it's true.
Yours sounds like it has some pain to it. So let's all get ready for that. Tell me what's going on.
There's some pain and there's some, funny things. I was married to a narcissist for 30 years.
Oh, well, you're tired.
And after And after 25 years, it was like, I can't do this anymore. So I separated from him in the hopes that it would convince him, because I tried for years to get him to go to counseling and he refused. So in the hopes that, you know, my moving out would motivate him to go to counseling, back to counseling, it did work. He did go.
Oh,
But,
he did?
you know, when you have, he did, but after just a few months, and we went to 2 different counselors, after just a few months, both counselors said, you know what, he's a narcissist, we can't get through to him, there's no hope, we're done. So I felt like, what do I do now?
So both counselors
we
fired
went
him.
to see. Yes, they did. They said, now, if you want to keep coming, we'll help you, you know, survive living with him, you know, help you deal with it. But I thought, you know, if this isn't going to change, it's not a situation that the kids and I can continue to live in. And even my pastor said,
give me one very quick example of his narcissistic behavior that you couldn't live with. So I understand him.
He was never wrong about anything.
Okay, give me an example. Give me an example.
Oh gosh, so many examples. But let's say something didn't work out. He kept getting fired from jobs because he was so dysfunctional, and they kept firing him from jobs. And so, you know, he would decided that he was going to become this real estate mogul. He was, you know, wanted to spend money on all of these programs where you could get rich quick in real estate and stuff.
Okay,
and
so what did he do where he wouldn't admit he was wrong? I'm trying to get a feel for him in real life, so I know what you were dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of projection. Like
let's move on, because I was trying to get like a real, this day he came in and did this, but why don't we move to the dating question? So you had this narcissist for a long time, right? And you've moved on now, and it sounds like you're out there dating. How old are your kids?
They are now 31 and 34.
Okay, and you've been divorced how long?
Since 2012.
Oh, wow. So you've been out there a while. Okay. So what's the dating question?
I did. Okay. So I ended up seeing this man that I didn't figure out until a little while into the relationship that he was actually a narcissist. And
okay.
I went back to my
what did he do that showed you that?
The lying, always having other women.
Always what?
Always a new woman.
Did you say always having other women, and y'all were supposed to be exclusive?
Yeah.
Is that right?
It wasn't like we had an exclusive agreement, but he would always tell me, I'm not seeing anyone else.
Okay,
You're the only one I'm seeing.
All right, so what is the question? What is the question? I got a clear picture of him.
The question is, right now, I think we're more in a friendship phase.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You're still in this relationship? He's got other women and lying to you about it?
Well, yeah. Yeah, because I
Valerie.
thought if
oh, I'm sorry, Shelley. Shelley.
Okay. Well,
wait a minute. How long have you been doing this?
5 years.
Okay.
What
is your question that doesn't take a PhD? Well, let's go the other way. I have a degree, okay?
Yes, you
whether or
do.
not you should continue to believe chronic lying, which I don't even know if that's narcissism or not. It's lying. It could be a sociopath. He could be a shame-based. Who knows what he is? But he's lying to you, and he's got other
Yeah.
women. Give me a question that would take a PhD to answer, because I think one of my daughters would tell you, what what are you doing?
Yeah. Run away. I know. Well, we're not exclusive. I mean, I know now, that
Okay, so give me a question. Okay, I'm in a relationship with a liar. How do I make that work and happy? What is the question?
The question is, because everyone is telling me that a narcissist can't change. And here's the thing, he's wanting to write a series of books, and he's basing the main character, the young man, on his own life where he faced
okay,
a lot of
give me the question. Give me the question. I got it. I need a question.
If we can fix the narcissism, will the other behaviors stop? Would he be worth continuing to see? I mean, can the narcissism be fixed? Because I honestly believe that's the root of why he's doing these things. Because I really
Shelley,
get the sense.
Shelley.
Yes.
I want you to listen to me here.
Okay.
Are you running a rehab center, or are you dating? You just said, can we? Oh, it's a really important question. Can we get the narcissism fixed? That sounds like something the owner of an NFL team would ask. Can we fix this? Because I got a contract with this guy for $100 million for the next 5 years. Can we fix this so he's not out there with all these multiple women? That NFL owner is stuck. You have a million options. Dating is not about rehabbing somebody. If you want to have, oh my gosh, if you want to have a future with this guy, what I would tell him is, you know what? Here's the 5 things that are intolerable to me that I will not be with. I lived with that for however many years, 25 years. I'm not going to do that again. So I'm going to say goodbye. And if you go into some program or treatment or something, and you turn into the kind of guy that I would want to date, which means permission to play cards like honesty, and you're contributing to society, and like you care about others and a bunch of other stuff, then call me back and I'll interview you again, which is called dating. Now, I've had 5 years of interviewing you. I don't know why I waited that long, but should have been over by now. But that's my what?
It hasn't been the whole 5 years. It's been off and on. There were times where, I didn't have contact
Shelley,
with.
Shelley.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you. You're dodging me here, honey.
No, I get what you're saying.
I don't know what else to tell you. You've let 5 years of your life go by waiting for something, and if you want to have another 5 years like that, then feel free to do it. But I'm telling you, dating is about having a bar that people have to hit the bar in order to go to the next level. It's not about having somebody that they got, these are big problems you're talking about. And thinking, well, maybe if I could rehab them, and come on. Have a high bar. I wrote a book called Boundaries in Dating, and there's a chapter in there called Things You Cannot Live With and Things You Can Live With. One of the problems people make mistakes people make in dating is there are stuff that you ought to be able to live with. Get over it. You're too picky. You're too perfectionistic about who you're going to date, guys. Get over that. You're never going to find anybody perfect. But there are other problems. You should never put up with that. Ever, 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 ever. Those are permission to play things. These are the kind of things that people get fired from companies, much less dating and giving your heart to, lying and other women. Come on. I hope this has helped.
It has. It's kicked me a little bit because it's what I basically already knew and was kind of trying to deny, because nobody's ever all bad or all good, and there are good things about him that
Shelley,
are hard to let go.
Shelley,
But I know
Shelley.
lying's not negotiable.
No, thank you. Write that on a 3x5 card, put it on your forehead, and go have a conversation with him just in case you forget it. At least he'll be able to read it. Okay? And then you can tell him, if you want to turn into somebody that reaches the qualifications of being in my life, it's going to be not lying. Okay? So, got to run. Thank you. Appreciate your desire to have people get better. And God knows I believe in that too. And people can get better, but people cannot get better when they're not getting better. Okay? If they don't want to play, can narcissists change? Absolutely. They change every day. I've seen it a million times. Do some of them not? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't even know if the guy's a narcissist. It kind of sounded like he had some narcissistic traits. If he thinks he's going to be a mogul and he can't hold down a job, well, that's a little overinflated view of oneself, I would say. But good luck with that. And all you other ladies out there and men that are out there dating like that. Okay, now come on. Just let me give you a second of just like you know, I don't even know what to call this. This is like I could bring my daughters down here and they could answer that question. Look, think about this. You're going to buy a house, okay? This house is beautiful. Look at all the good things it has about it. It's incredible. It's got I love the living spaces. I love the neighborhood, all this. So what do you do when you buy a house? And this doesn't even involve your heart or your soul. This is just a material object. What do? You enter into a dating phase. Well, you're actually dating, you're looking at a bunch of houses. But now we're saying, I want to be exclusive with this house. You enter into, in California, it's an escrow period, or in other states, you put it under contract. And that gives you a window of time to do what? To inspect it behind the walls. Stuff you can't see. Are there termites in there? Is the foundation cracked? Does the roof leak? Is a wall about to fall down that they painted over? So then what do? You go into the inspection and they come back and tell you the foundation is cracked. And you go, oh, but it's so beautiful. Look how the living spaces are so wonderful. But the foundation is cracked. It's going to fall off the hill. But I love it. It's so beautiful. Tell your agent you're dropping out of the escrow. You don't want to be in a house that's going to fall off the hill, which being in a relationship with a liar, it's going to fall off the hill until they decide not. Okay, we do this with immaterial things like buying a house. We're talking about your heart and your soul and your life, your relationships, dating, and every other aspect of life, your community, your business associates, all of that. Relationships, they're not a piece of material things that we can just toss. Relationships get in our soul. Go read Psalm 101, one of my favorite Psalms. And David says there's certain kinds of, it's probably in the Hebrew, crap, okay? There's certain kinds of stuff. There's certain kinds of people. So I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not even going to let them close to me. And what does he list? Narcissists, okay? The haughty, the judgmental people, unfaithful people, liars, perversity, people that twist love. He says, I'm not even going to let them close to me, much less give them my heart. And then you know what he says? He says, it is the faithful in the land that will dwell with me, that will get close to me, that will minister to me. wrote a book called Safe People. And in that book, and on boundaries.me, go to boundaries.me and look up the courses. Go sign up for free right now. Boundaries.me, and just go in and look up safe and unsafe people. Because what we do is we look at the signs of character. See, anybody, charm is deceitful, Proverbs says, but it's the character of a person that you ultimately end up living with. We're attracted to somebody's outsides. We experience their insides. You can't experience an image, the outside of a person. You're going to experience, you're going to metabolize, you're going to have to swallow, you're going to have to go to bed, think about, live with, and drive around and feel in your soul. You're going to experience someone's character. And if it's not okay, then you got to drop out of escrow in the dating world. Come on, hear me on this, people. Come on, hear me on this. If you're dating, somebody's got to hit a bar of permission to play. All right. Michelle calling us from Toronto. You have a friendship question. Michelle, sorry I went on a rant there, but I'm trying to rescue a bunch of single people from putting up with stuff they shouldn't put up with. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm on a rant. Sorry, I got to calm down. I need drugs or something. Somebody come give me some Valium around here.
That just ministered to me, so that was awesome. It's good.
Well, good. Are you single?
I am single. I've dealt with the narcissist. I've dealt with unfaithfulness. And when you get into the Word of God and you know God's principles, you can tell who are safe and unsafe. The Bible's there. The Word is there. You just got to hold it up and say, am I feeling I'm being robbed? Am I feeling it's fearful and there's anxiousness? Well, then this is not right. Let's check it with the Word of God.
There you go. You check it in your, one of my favorite verses. It says that solid food, which relationships are solid food. Solid food is for the mature. It's like a baby. You don't give them solid food, but mature people, solid food relationships are for the mature, who it says have had their senses trained through practice to discern good from evil. And what you're saying is you're in a relationship and your senses are telling you something's wrong about this. That didn't feel good. Why do I feel alone every time I'm with this person? Why does it feel like I don't matter? Why does it feel like I'm invisible? Why does it feel like only what they care about is what's important and never what I care about? Okay, your senses are trying to wake you up. Listen to them. Very important. Okay, so tell me your question.
Okay, if I can make this really short. I met a girlfriend of mine at Bible college. She was still in the world, kind of, partaking and doing what she wanted to do. But I came out from the world. I used to be in like music videos and all this stuff. Not that any of that is bad, but I know God was calling me to be separate, to come out from amongst them, because He had a calling for me.
Some of it can be bad.
So absolutely. Some of it, and where I would say the devil was leading me was, I guess, in a very bad road. So my twin sister got born again, and then basically my father's Muslim, my mother's Hindu, and I came to know the Lord about 4 years ago. Fast forward, cool. Got into Bible college, and got into Bible college. I met this girl, and she's like, "Oh, you changed my life." Great. We became really good friends. She's actually my best friend. However, I found that as I came to know the Lord, I stopped wanting to go out. Like, I'm always just in the Word. I'm in church 3 days a week. I serve in the church. I do media in the church. I'm always there. I know it's a lot. My family thinks it's a lot. And I don't even spend a lot of time with my family. I don't have a boyfriend or anything like that. I'm cool with that because I know where God's taking me. However, now my girlfriend's like, we became a lot closer.
Whoa. I need to understand something. Sorry, I took a bite of my food here. When you said you're okay with that because you know where He's taking you, where's He taking you?
Well, I just know that God wants me to be really focused and kind of just have a single-minded heart about where I'm going, and that's going to take like consecration and just kind of like I can't be hanging out. Like, it's good.
No. I understand. I'm just trying to understand because every now and then you'll say a future orientation that's different than your present orientation. You said with where I'm going or
Oh,
where God's taking me. So what is the future?
oh, like
It
for my
sounds like
calling.
you're
What I
kind
mean,
of
like
in training right now, and you're sort of like
like what I mean, like my
in boot
calling.
camp, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, you know, David was in like the backside of like the field, and God was training him, and you know what I mean. I just feel like some people's calling, you kind of have to sacrifice, and sometimes
No,
you're like, oh, you're not more busier than
okay.
I
I'm
am.
going to try. I'm going to ask one more time. Okay. What is that
Yeah,
calling? What
yeah.
What is that future?
Um,
Not that
I
you have
guess
to know. It just
it's
sounded like you did know.
I do know. Well, it's to teach the word of God. I'm a teacher. Like, you know, there's a fivefold ministry, so I'm a teacher,
Okay. So
and I teach
you want
right
to teach,
now in my
and
church.
you're getting prepared for that. Okay. So what is your question about your friend?
So now she's within this like summer that just, you know, that we just had from June. We've gotten really, really close just over the phone. And when I do have time, I love just picking up the phone and just calling her. So we'll talk about everything. We can talk about everything and then include scriptures. So we've become really good friends. So,
Okay.
well, best friends. But now she's like, it's summertime, bro, and I know you don't like going out, but if we're getting this close, I would love to hang out with you. And like I have, but I can count on my right hand. It's probably about 5 times a year that we hang out. And she's like, this is not friendship. I'm going to hold you accountable. And she's like, basically giving me an ultimatum. Like, this is not a friendship. And
It's not a
and I'm like,
friendship
but why
if you don't. It's not a friendship if you don't spend
hang
some
out?
time with her.
Yes,
Okay.
this is her
So
last text. I'm just going to read it quickly. She goes, it's on you at this point, though. I haven't asked you to meet up since things have changed, and I won't be. If you care to talk to me, you'll make time. You're not busier than me. So I don't know.
okay. So
And it's like
what is the
now
question?
I'm resentful.
What is the question?
I don't know. I'm like, am I being wrong for not? Like, am I wrong? Am I being selfish? Because she's like, you're selfish. You got your priorities out of whack. And I'm like, but why are you demanding this time from me? Like, friendship should be free. Now I don't even care to call you because I feel like. So I invited.
Whoa.
I know.
You
So
did,
please
you
check me if
just,
I'm wrong. I need some help.
you just did the same thing she did. You know, you're saying friendship should be this way. She's saying friendship should be this way. Okay.
Exactly.
I don't know where the friendship book is where we look up the rules and go to court and ask the judge. How many times should people get together if they're going to be friends? Okay. So I don't know how to judge
But
that.
here's the thing,
And
Dr.
back
Cloud.
to the Bible that you're
We,
teaching, it says judge not, right? So you're not going to judge her, right? Here's the
no,
issue.
I'm not. I just.
Here's the issue. You have two people. They're going through life. They're walking through life. Oh, hi. I like you. Oh, I like you too. And so then they start to talk, right? Each of them have their own lives. They have their own paths. And then we find out in a friendship, whether in this season of my life, whether how I'm living my life and what's interesting and valuable to me, whether that coincides with you, and how much of that we have concentric circles of who gets in the closest and what the match is and all of that. And it sounds like you guys are in different seasons right now. You sound like, I'm going to tell you what it sounds like. Okay, just what it sounds like. It sounds like it would be a little bit like, now I'm going to use an extreme example here, but you're kind of living, it's almost like a monastery monk life, right? You're going to be all about your faith and all of that. And she's coming to the monastery and knocking on the door and saying, hey, let's go to the beach and go do all this stuff. And the monk over here is saying, well, I'm not really into that right now, right? You know, 5 times a year we go out and feed the poor or something. But yeah, so you're in different places. You sound like you've kind of holed up, right? And sort of like the Bible says, you know, be in the world but not of the world. Or right now, you're not in the world. You're kind of in this season of boot camp. So it's like if somebody joined the army and they went off to boot camp, then they don't get to play with their friends while they're in boot camp. And you said you're in a season of preparation. Now, as I understand the faith, that season should actually drive you back out there into the real world. You know, Jesus didn't hole up and not have friends outside of, you know, the temple, right? He went and had dinners and parties and weddings and made more wine when they ran out. He was just really, really out there. but you're in a season of preparing, so that's okay. So I wouldn't judge each other. If I were you, I'd try to figure out, okay, what do I want my life to look like right now, and what kind of friends will fit into that kind of life, and then tell her, as I hear what you're wanting, you want me available, this, that, and the other. That's not really where I am right now. I love hanging out with you. I love talking to you. That probably schedule won't work for me, but God bless you. Um, you know, I'll call you when I can, if that's okay with you. Nobody's bad here. Y'all are just different.
But what if she's like, well, if you don't want to spend any time with me, I'm ending this friendship because I feel like it's one-sided.
Well, that's how it feels to her. She has that choice. She's not getting out of the friendship what she wants. And
is that a bad thing that I'm doing?
No, it's not bad. You've chosen a season of not wanting to give this relationship more than you're giving. You're not bad for that.
Okay.
It just depends on how, I have friends, Tori and I just went to dinner with some friends that we haven't seen in a year. And we really love them, but our lives are, they're in different worlds. Our traffic patterns, we used to see them a lot, and we're both sitting there, and we're talking. Gosh, I wish we could see each other more. Yeah, but it's okay. I mean, it's okay because it just. So there's no rules of amount of time spent in friendship. But here's the thing: there is a law of return. Okay, we are going to get out of something what we put into something. So if you're wanting a deep friendship with somebody, it's going to take more than 5 conversations a year. If you're wanting a shallow catch up, I enjoy you for a couple of hours 5 times a year relationship, which we all have, nothing wrong with that. Nobody's bad. Set each other free and see if it matches. Okay, now here's one more thing. You might want to ask yourself, at what point am I kind of walling myself off? When does the walling myself off need to shift to the next season? Because I understand what you did. I remember doing the same thing. That, kind of like, it was sort of like all of life, none of God. Well, I came to faith in a deeper way in college, and I just buried myself for a while. I mean, buried myself. And I really learned a lot about God and about the scriptures and about the faith and about, beginning of learning about psychology. And I kind of dropped out of life for a little bit. That was great. I needed to do that. But at some point, that season ends to where we take all of that and enter back into life and integrate all that into life. So just be watching for that. It's probably would be my guess where your next season would be. But I love your zeal, and
Amen.
I wouldn't, I would just empathize with her. And I've got to go to another caller, but I would just empathize with her and say, well, gosh, I'm sorry that that's not enough for you. That's kind of where I am right now. But if I want to do more, I'll let you know. You said it's in my court, and if I want to do more, I'll let you know. Okay. You know what? There's a great principle in there, guys, for us to talk about, and that is that so many issues in life. There's no right or wrong. There's right and wrong in every issue of life in how we treat somebody in the areas where there's no right or wrong. Okay? Let me say that again. So many issues, there's no right or wrong. Right now. I mean, I can't tell you how many we've had some calls on this program. I've got two or three circumstances in my life right now with people that I'm pretty close to that are in kind of like the difficult discussions with family members or people they work with or whatever about COVID. Do you want to have a dinner with X amount of people, or we're going to make this trip, or, kind of like go visit somebody. And one person feels comfortable with it, doing it, and the other person says, no, I really can't do that. And I can tell the differences in the characters of the people because in the way they handle that difference. See, there's no right or wrong, and somebody's not right for saying, I don't feel comfortable with having a small gathering, even if there's social distancing or whatever. I'm going to play it more conservatively than that. And somebody's not wrong for saying, I'm going to do that. But you can be wrong or right in how you handle the differences where there's no right or wrong. That's the whole issue. Can we listen and accept each other and have differences and still love each other? I hope so. But we can go goofy if we judge. One of my favorite verses, do not judge lest you be judged. And he said that a bunch of times. I mean, sometimes we get confused about what God wants out of us. Well, I can tell you one thing that we're not confused about, because he said it a bunch of times. Don't go playing the judge. There's one judge. But spend your life getting ready to answer to the judge. And that means looking at our behavior every day in terms of how we're treating each other, because that's the big deal we're going to be judged on. Okay, back to the calls. Where are we here? Beth is calling us, I think, from Alabama, down there in neighboring state to my home state of Mississippi. Got to say hi to all my Vicksburg folks that have been saying hi to me. Beth, welcome to the program.
Hey, how are you today?
You know what? I'm great because I just heard somebody speak without an accent.
Well, thank you. I don't get that a lot.
I bet you don't, because I'm sitting out here and everybody's got one. When I was a little boy, growing up in Mississippi, and grew up, where I heard people talking like you, and that seemed normal to me. So I moved to California, and I remember my daddy came out here, and he was older. By then I'm an adult, and he was older when I was born. And so he comes out here and he meets all my California friends, and he says, why is everybody out here talking with that TV accent? Meaning everybody he had ever seen on TV doesn't have a Southern accent. So anyway, you didn't call to talk about that, Beth. Tell me how I can help you.
So it's kind of a long story, and I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can. I've been married 16 years. Mm-hmm. And I probably started off, I guess, on the wrong foot with my mother-in-law, which I guess she probably thought it was great. But
with your mother-in-law, you said?
Off, yes. Yeah. So I started out trying to be like a really good daughter-in-law. I was willing to go do everything.
Wait a minute, stop! I cannot. Wait a minute, I can't let that go by. I cannot let that go by. What is a really good daughter-in-law? This is going to scare me to shaking in my boots. What does a good daughter-in-law look like?
No, I guess I had seen a lot of people that did not get along with their mother-in-law. So I was like, I'm going to make the best effort I can,
Oh,
and I would like cook, have them over for dinner. We would go do stuff together. But the whole time I was doing it, like, she's not a really nice person. And we would go shopping
Wait a minute.
together.
I kept having all these dinners, and it dawned on me this isn't that much fun. So, all right, she's not nice. Is she critical? Is she controlling? Is she negative?
Yes.
Is she racist? What is she?
No. I will say this, she's never criticized like how I run my home or anything. But I've heard you talk about differences in marriage and like socioeconomic and that kind of thing. And And you know how it is in the South, like everybody knows everybody's family. Well, I was raised like poverty level, but I had a really great childhood. Like it was fantastic. We were very poor, but it was great.
You had
and
real
I
wealth.
kind of married into the who. Yeah,
Where do you live?
And I've kind of married into the extreme northeast Alabama. I was raised in Georgia.
Okay, all right. And so you kind of married into
because we all know everybody.
What's that?
I said we all know everybody, so I hate to say a whole lot of where I live, but
no, it's fine,
I married into like they have it very well, you know. So there's always been jabs at my family kind of put down, but it's always kind of been like, yeah. And I would
ugly.
cry and cry and cry. And my husband, and my husband would be like, and he would be like, well, you're being two-faced, you know, when you agree to go shopping with her, and then you come home and cry, you know, you're being hypocritical, which I see his point. So it just
I don't see it. Wait, I don't see the point. If somebody invites me to go shopping and I want to go shopping and I go shop with them and they hurt me and I come home and I'm sad.
Yeah.
How is that hypocritical?
Right. I guess he was meaning, well, because I never addressed her over it. And like, I just went along like, yeah, I'll go shopping because I felt obligated to do things.
All right. I don't see that.
I felt like I should.
Okay. So wait a minute. So hang on. I'm going to get at the heart of this. Is he saying you're right? You're right. She's being hurtful to you. And I can see why this hurts you. And it's a little hypocritical for you to not address that hurt because that hurt should be addressed because she's treating you poorly. Is that what he's saying?
Well, this all came down like 6 years ago. I don't really know what he meant at the time.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, then let's just get to the question. What is the question?
Yeah, I've got to go. Yeah. Okay. So I had a confrontation with her. She came to my house. I stopped all the, you know, do you want to go shopping? I'm like, no, thank you. She came to my house and she said, I want to know what your problem is. And so I'm pretty mild, but it really hit me wrong. And so
I'm going to tell you something here. Now, I'm not saying you ought to react. I'm not saying you ought to, you know, whatever. But if somebody walks up to me and says, I want to know what your problem is, that's not a great beginning. I think even the Beverly Hillbillies would kind of, you know, agree with that. So what happened? Yeah. She said, I want to know what your problem is. And then what did you do?
Yeah. And I gave her specific examples, told her everything. She denied everything. And so I told her, I said, well,
give me one quick example. We got to go fast, but give me one quick example that you gave.
Okay. Well, they're putting my family down, you know, degrading. Did your mom ever get her GED type thing? Yeah. So that type thing. And she denied everything. I said, well, would you want me to treat you the way you treat me? And she said, I refuse to answer that question. She ran out of the house crying. I didn't go chase her. I just, and so since then, they've waited for an apology. They went and called the pastor, told him how horrible I was, that I attacked her. And so
what did the pastor say? I hope the pastor didn't enable this. What did the pastor say?
They didn't address, they thought it was to a degree funny because it's kind of known how she is. But no, it was never addressed one way or the other. So it was just kind of ignored and everybody had a good chuckle.
To address her because she's a big donor to the church.
Well, you know, so
not that I hadn't seen that happen.
Anyway,
but go ahead. So what? Give me a question.
Years now.
Give me a question.
My question. All right. My question is: it's been 6 years. I don't have much contact with her. I examine myself occasionally. Am I required to have any sort of? I don't, but I feel guilty sometimes because I'm like, I don't know if I can. I'm like, should I? Because, you know, the verse that says, render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. Like, I feel there are certain people in our lives that we're obligated. No, don't laugh.
That is the most amazing analogy. Now, my mother-in-law acts like
No.
the king, and so I'm going to start paying taxes to
No.
mother-in-law. That may be in my
I don't
favor.
mean that. I don't mean that.
Yeah, but unconsciously,
No,
I
I
think
mean,
you
you know
feel
how
that way. I think you feel that way, right?
Well,
This
I
is
get a
awesome.
lot of
Okay.
pressure, especially from her husband.
Her husband?
Like, we go to church together. Yeah, we go to church together.
Oh, I'm sure God
And
loves
and it's
looking
like
down
he
on this
gets up and
service.
he puts these passive aggressive comments out there that are directed toward me. Like, I
All
feel
right,
like
so
they are.
give me the question.
And I'm
Because we gotta run here. I need a
what are
question.
my obligations? Yeah, what
Your
are my
obligations?
obligations as a daughter-in-law? Yes, yes. To
your
what
ob-
degree? Spiritually,
Your obligations are just like Paul says in Romans 13. He says, "In as much as it depends on you, be at peace with everyone." Okay, in as much as it depends
Okay.
on you, your obligations are, and he goes on. Go read that chapter,
Okay.
Romans 13. He says, "Owe
Uh-huh.
owe nothing to anyone except to love them." Okay,
Okay.
so your obligation is to be
Right.
loving towards her, to be nice to her. You know, to
Okay.
treat her like you would want to be treated, which you actually did. If you offended
Right.
somebody, you would want
Yeah.
somebody to tell you that, right? So in confronting her, you were living out the
Right.
golden rule. You were treating her like you would want to be treated. If you were putting somebody down, and you know what? I hate that. Seriously. And you know what?
Yeah.
The
It stings.
proverb says
It
that
really
when
does.
God hates that. He says if somebody makes fun of the poor, then he's mad about it. Okay, so for her to put you down because you came from a difficult background, but a background that was wealthy in love and family,
Yeah.
for her to
Right.
put that down,
Yeah.
that is not okay. And then for you to say that hurt me and then be condemned for saying that hurt you, that's not okay. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you are not, you are not, you are not wrong for not paying taxes to Caesar. Okay. What you're obligated to do is to, as much as it depends on you, be at peace with her. So you're
Right.
gracious. You also could say, you know what, it is kind of weird. You know, you're my mother-in-law. We don't talk very much. Um, and if you'd ever like to try to talk this out and get to a good place, I would be really open to it. And I'd love to meet with you. You could invite her to the table, but that doesn't
But
mean
I
that you
really,
give in
yeah.
to bad
Yeah.
treatment.
And I kind of, yeah. And I kind of watch patterns, and she's kind of, and that's kind of where I don't really want a relationship with her at this point. And I feel guilty over that. I'm like,
Well,
am
that's
I a horrible
fine.
person I don't even
No,
care if I,
no, but I
I don't know, because I put up with it
think if
like
you're
for
asking
10
for your
years, and it's just
obligation,
kind of like,
no, I understand. You don't want to go back
yeah,
and do the same old, but you're asking about your obligation. I think if you want to go to what the scriptures say, it says, if somebody has something against you, then go to them and try to
right,
clear it up. Okay. So that's an obligation.
yeah,
That's what I said. I didn't say you had to go shopping with her ever again. What I did say was, if
yeah,
somebody's mad at us or whatever's holding something against us, I don't see anything. In fact, I do see something good about it, saying, you know what, if you're still offended with me, because of our conversation or anything else, I'd be glad to talk to you about it. You can have coffee or a conversation about it
yeah,
and try to clear it up. That doesn't mean you have to go shopping with her. Have some friends that don't care about,
that's true.
about where you came from. All right. Hope that helps.
Okay,
Does that help?
yeah, it helps. Thank you so much for talking to me. I appreciate it.
You know what? One of the things that it's really weird. I grew up in the South, and I grew up in a small town. One of the things I loved about our small town and there were wealthy people and there were people just barely getting by. And I don't think we ever really, I mean, we knew the difference because we knew the kind of houses people lived in, the kind of cars they drove. But we all played together. We all went to each other's parties, and our parents went to church together. And I guess it was too small for there to be really fixed, class systems like you see in a lot of places. But, if you look at what real community is about, it doesn't have a balance sheet to it. What we choose in people is not their bank account or their worldly possessions or their degrees on the wall or, their positions. What we choose to be close to is character. Go to Psalm 101. I mentioned it earlier. It's going to give you a whole list there, the kind of people you'd want to be close to and the kind of people you want to stay away from. But you can be at peace with her in as much as it depends on you. I just wouldn't pay any taxes to her. That's all. And by the way, this does get into your marriage, right? And so you got a husband here.
Oh yeah.
And I would want him to, if my mother were or had, she's passed on now. She loved my wife. She couldn't figure out how I landed her. She's going, I don't know how you did this. She's way better than you. But if she had treated her poorly, I would have stepped in. And I do think that
he
if
tries
a daughter,
to straddle the fence. Yeah.
Well, then that may be, a growth step for him. But what you don't want is a mother-in-law able to divide a husband and wife. A husband, the Bible says, shall leave his mother. The Hebrew word there is abandon his mother. Of course, you have a relationship with her, but you abandon that's your first tie in life, which a mother is. We start out, that's our first tie. Leave that first most important woman in your life, which your mother is, until she's not, because you grow up. You leave her and you cleave to your wife. And so if mother-in-law is able to get in between, then that's his growth step to where you're number one. Okay. Got to run. Thank you for your call. And hope it works out well for you. You sound fun. I hope she learns to have some fun too. Okay. We are, where are we? Let's go to, is it Marna? Marna, are you there? Marna's calling us from Washington, D.C. Is that right, Marna? Welcome to the program.
Hi, Marna. I'm hi.
Hey, are you calling from D.C.?
Yes.
How did you let things get so
I am.
screwed up? How'd you let things get so screwed up back there? Go fix everybody. They can't get along.
I want to explain to my daughters why I have to end the relationship with my mom, but I don't want them to one day feel that I didn't care for my mom, so they don't have to have me in their life.
No,
my
you
mom,
don't want that, right?
No, right? My mom and my dad got married because they were pregnant with me. My mom didn't want me. When I was born, my grandmother told my father, watch that woman and take care of that baby because she's not loving and I'm afraid she'll hurt the baby. And my grandma was wise. And my father did that. So my whole life, my mom was jealous of me. And when she couldn't get a hold of me, she used somebody as an extension of herself to get a hold of me. And that's gone on until 5 years ago when my dad died. And they had to go across the country because they were physically dangerous towards me and my children. My children are now in their 20s.
Hold on a second. Your mom, say that again. Just repeat what you just said. Didn't quite understand it.
about my mom using people as an extension of herself to get at me.
Yeah, and then you said
Is that what
there
you mean?
there was danger. You guys had to move because there was danger.
I moved because when my father passed away, there was nobody to hold people back from trying to hurt me and my children. And I always kept a distance, but once in a while I'd get close enough that they could take a swat at us and physically.
What, they were physically assaulting you? People on behalf of your mother sent people to hurt you?
Well, she told them stories about me that made them hate me my whole life, and I couldn't figure out where these stories were coming from.
People can hate each other and not go. Should they physically attack you? They tried to physically assault you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you call the police?
And you know, my sister had my daughter over for a sleepover and chased her around with a wood spoon and put marks all over my daughter.
When was this?
And she was 8 years old. She was 8 years old. And
how long ago was that?
We were going on. That was about 16 years ago.
Oh, okay. So she's not in danger now.
I never.
Okay, so you've moved away, and so give me your question because we're kind of out of time here.
So I want to explain to how do I explain to my daughters why I have to cut off my mother? And yes, my sister is still physically a danger, and my brothers as well. It's
well,
just
don't your daughters understand this, having been kind of in the realm of being attacked and stuff? Don't they get it?
Well, they do, but they're confused because I keep a relationship with my mom over the phone because I feel like she's my mom. And she's told me that she's in peril because my brothers and sisters who were raised very fleshy have destroyed her rental property business, and she is just surrounded by the monster she made. And I can't go and rescue her because when I go in there, everybody who's around her would try to physically hurt me, and she would too. But she'll ask me to come in, and
so
she's not really in peril.
Then you just look. You just explain this to your daughters just like you did me. That's how you do it. You just say, guys,
because I still talk to her.
Well, then tell them. You just got to explain that. You say, I know this is confusing because I still talk to her. Guys, I'm in a weird place here because, I still talk to my mother. I want to have a relationship with her. I can't be with her. It's like if you had a rabid dog as a pet, right? There are people that keep dogs like that, and they keep them out in the pen, and they go talk to them, but you can't get close to them. And that's a good lesson for a daughter to learn anyway, that there are certain people you can't get close to. And I want to tell you guys, and I want to warn you, don't get sucked into this family clan here because
I told them that's like keeping as a pet.
But I don't know, but that's all you can do. You can explain to them the danger here and, model for them really good, just really good boundaries. I mean, if somebody's trying to physically assault you, no, I'm not going to be close to them. So I would explain that to them, and I'd say, look, guys, here's the kind of relationship I want to have with y'all going forward. I hope we don't ever get sideways like that. If I'm ever doing something to you that would make you want to stay away from me, I hope I don't. But if I do, just talk to me about it. And I promise you, I won't be like my mother and come attack you for telling me. We'll solve the problem. So you talk to them about how you work out problems. This is awful. I mean, I mean, come on. That's not like small stuff. You're talking about people that come after you physically. No, you got to show your daughters that's not okay. All righty. So where are we here? I think we're about out of time. What a great group, a great audience we have. I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate your calls. I appreciate you sharing your lives and dilemmas with me. It is always fun. It's always good to be with you. And go to boundaries.me. Go to boundaries.me and check it out. And all you boundaries.me members, email us your questions because we will be addressing those in the beginning of the show. very, very specifically. But the rest of you, go to boundaries.me and sign up, because a great community is building there. Share the program with your friends as we try to build an audience, and have a great, great weekend. I am. I really want y'all to kind of check out the announcements though next week. I'll be doing some. I've got some travel and complicated schedule, but I will be here in some form or fashion. We just don't know exactly the time. Some of it may be the same. It may switch here, but just check. Go to Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and we will post it. And we'll let you know. Okay. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.